Hello, it is Sunday, August 29th, 2021, about 12:11 noon. It's a nice, sunny, bright Sunday. Might be overcast a little bit later, definitely. Once I record this, upload it, I'm gonna go outside for a nice long walk, sitting still in the house, you know, that whole approach of I'll just go to work, and when I'm not at work, I will just do nothing, right? Maybe the answer is just lay in bed and do nothing. Well, it's not very conducive to any sort of healing. But that'll be for, I suppose, another video. I did not Eldar or anything like that, just, I mean, how many videos do you need about back pain? I'm sure you're sick of hearing about it. Can't say there's not going to be any more about that. Sick of talking about it. It's been a very, very frustrating experience. Highs and lows, black and white, sweet and sour, up and down. You know, the sine wave sort of on some kind of upward trajectory, but been some very, very low points where it really doesn't feel like, I mean, it really does, like right now, feeling pretty good, etc. You're almost like, oh, you know, what are you even complaining about? And let's just say, seemingly out of nowhere, just have some unbelievable pain where you didn't even do anything. But whatever. Got my anti-door on. Bring to my parents. It was good. Seemed kind of like a little sleepy coffee hour thing. Just been getting to know more and more people. There's a couple of dudes I've become a bit closer with, and we kind of chat on the phone a bit, but slowly getting to know more and more people. You know, there's some that you kind of see and they don't really, you know, they've got their own groups and all that, and just finally over time they kind of introduce themselves to you and all that. I'm like, oh yeah, we've seen you around for a while. Maybe it's just that thing where people who've been there a while, you know, they've seen so many people come and go that they're not, you know, they might be welcoming and all that, but until they've seen somebody actually like be consistently going there, where it's, okay, this person is clearly more serious about this, not just to show up here and there and then after a while disappear. But anyway, no, it's good. I definitely had some moments where my attendance was declining. I mean, I had some of the people kind of reach out to me like, hey, haven't seen you at whatever, like, is everything okay? Had the old Greek grandmother, Yaya, like reach out several times. Yeah, a couple of these dudes, like, haven't seen you. Is like, wasn't really expecting anyone to check in and like, oh, haven't seen you for a bit, like, is everything okay? It wasn't disbelief or anything like that, just a feeling of being a fraud, if that makes any sense. It's like, who am I? You know, who am I? Just all these people who are here and they've got their families and their friends and all that stuff. And here I am, some a-hole who just shows up, and I don't know. I can't even describe it to you. Just, I felt like a complete fraud. But maybe that's just the old excuse to give up. The old excuse to give up starting to rear its head, whatever the phrase is. But no, it was good. and you kind of like, I'll go back, then people come up and chat with you a bit. You're almost like revitalized of like, oh wow, somebody talked to me, and just, I don't know, it was very nice. But it's been good. Well, anyway, almost 6 minutes in, I am now getting to the point of this video. This is a response to GC brah. GC, what does that stand for? It's been around for a while, maybe even the original days of the Forever Alone Feels days. Is that Greater Canada? Greater Canada? Greater Columbia? Greater something? Greater Columbus? I'm not sure. The question in the little stream that I did yesterday, just that ended it, deleted it, it didn't go well. Whatever, we don't need to get into it. Was, you know, do you have any goals right now that aren't medically related? And, you know, I sort of do. It was just kind of in the moment a little bit hard to think of it, because when you have a thing, you know, some kind of chronic thing is now front and center in your life and has, you know, a large effect on you. It's kind of hard not to think about it, even though at some point you do have to like try to minimize it if you can, just so you can focus on other stuff. It's an interesting kind of tightrope, whatever it is that you're walking, where it's like, okay, you know, you've had this issue for a while, you're kind of slowly figuring things out, that's great, but also like you gotta like try to focus on other stuff, so it's not like this is all you think about, right? Or all you're dwelling on, where that becomes your identity, where what the hell is, it just looks like somebody's making a delivery or something. It's just a weird, somebody like angrily pulling something out of their car. Okay, no. Looks like it's just a delivery, it's fine. But not to fall into this thing where you now wrap your identity around a problem, right? I mean, it's the classic thing where no matter what it is, it's very easy to fall into that, where it's like, oh, you know, being and having some chronic pain, this is now who I am. Like, no, it's just, oh, as frustrating as it is sometimes, having to move on to the like, well, what else can you kind of focus on and do right now? It's not as if you're completely debilitated and can't do anything, even though sometimes there are low moments and points like that. And it is getting very hot in the car because I've got the AC off. Well, in a non-medical thing, how do I answer that? You know, I can do two things, right? I could do the boo-hoo posting, right? Boo-hoo, poor me. It's the end, it's over, this and that, boo-hoo. If only this, if only that, if only I was born in the 1950s, if only this was this, if only society was like that, if only my parents this or that. I can do that, right? Boo-hoo. But I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that thing where, oh, like I'm going to sit, you know, like I've planned out this vision for my life. Like I picked a direction and a goal. And I'm not saying that there's nothing necessarily wrong with that, but it's sometimes easy to fall into this kind of self-gaslighting of, you know, all right, you know, I've decided I'm gonna learn to code, bro, and I'm gonna like succeed and make so much money, and I'm gonna be so great, and so this and so that. And you know, not to say that there's nothing wrong with kind of having some kind of vision or goal that far out, but it's also a, you know, you do sort of do this whole you know, if only I just get to this point, this far off in the distance, this point of success, whatever that is, then XYZ will happen, right? Because I've envisioned it, man. Well, that's not always so guaranteed, especially in the continued uncertainty of our world and age, right? Not to mention, you know, being 36 now, and just all that dynamic. And I'm not, you know, I'm not said, oh, no, don't boo-hoo because you're old or whatever. I'm not going to go. So just finding right now the middle path, the middle pillar, the synthesis, right? Doing some Hegelian dialectics between boo-hooing and like self-gaslighting right now. Something kind of in the shorter term, more reachable, more practical, because also at this point I can't, it is very, very difficult to see any kind of future, just in general. It's not even like, oh my back, no, just in general, the state of the world and all that stuff is just, it's like when you play one of those Souls games for the first time and you run into those like walls of fog, like you don't really know what's on the other side. You just hope, like, well, hope I've prepared the best for whatever is going on this side. Yeah, it's essentially how it feels a little bit. Okay, I was rambling so much that the phone overheated. Had to cool off. Whew, to cool off. So, what is the middle pillar that I can think of? I want to get even better at what I'm currently doing. You know, I got full-time now at work. It's good. I'm enjoying it. In a pretty good spot right now. Obviously, you know, you still want to be careful about falling into this trap where, okay, so, you know, you're in a good spot, so don't ever try to like grow or anything like that. But for now, it's good. I did ask if I could do more, but more hours. But yeah, I mean, I would happily work more than 40 hours, but they do not do overtime there. So I just thought, you know, what might be interesting is just getting even better. Get better with your customer service skills, like learn, like kind of like get a deeper layer of listening to people and kind of sussing out what they're interested in and what they need help with, and just increase your skill set too, so that you can kind of provide that deeper layer of service too and help with, but both to people who might come in, you know, whether the public, to the IT team, just in general, so you kind of understand more. So if something comes up, maybe you can kind of do some more digging around and all that jazz and see. I don't know, I just enjoy, as much as I enjoy being alone, and I've gotten very used to that, I do enjoy being helpful to others. Just kind of helping them solve whatever issues they've got with stuff. Feeling like you were of some use to someone, you helped out, and things like that. So I think it would be nice to get better at that. So what is this, you know, just, you know, okay, well, sounds very nebulous. Is there any sort of concrete, like what would you want to get to know? I mean, just to give you a quick example, for example, I was looking at Wireshark and like analyzing packets and stuff like that. Not for any sort of like hacking or any nefarious things, but is trying to help this one dude access his like small business administration account thing. They're just getting some weird website errors, And, you know, at first, like, okay, well, I think you just locked out of your account. He was mentioning, like, no, I go home and do this on my laptop. It's fine. I can bring the laptop in here, and just on your network, something is just causing it issues. And like, oh, okay, yeah. You know, at some point, sometimes it's like somebody telling you that Google is down. Like, oh yeah, sure, Google is down. Like, well, sometimes it actually is. But, you know, doing a little testing on my own, like, oh yeah, there's definitely something weird is going on with our network in this. And just I reached out to the IT team, and they were mentioning something about, okay, well, you can get to the website and it's fine, but there's something going on clearly with the authentication, the handshakes, whatever, and something we might be able to analyze with like capturing some packets with Wireshark to see like where something's going wrong. So I was like, damn, that sounds pretty interesting. That'd be cool to get to know, and just maybe there's other situations where something's going weird and there's like a tool that you might be able to use to get to know more, and then notify the appropriate people of, hey, I found this was being weird. And, you know, the customer service side of it is, there's this one gentleman who needed help with like backing things up on Windows 7. So I thought, okay, this is going to be fairly simple, right? We'll show him how to copy and paste stuff over to a flash drive, whatever. And I remember showing him that he would just get really, really angry and livid. I was like very confused of like, all right, well, I'm showing you how to back up your stuff. I don't know. I mean, I didn't say this, like, to myself, I'm thinking, like, why is this person, like, getting weirdly angry? And like, okay, so you're talking about backup tools. All right, well, let's show you the Windows 7 backup tool. I mean, all it really is, though, is just a glorified copied and paster with, like, a scheduler, right? So, and in the midst of all this, I realized that this person, you know, they kind of, they're going on a lot of tangents, like what their favorite song was in college, just random stuff like that. But this kind of kept talking about Windows NT and how Windows NT would do stuff, and I just couldn't understand. All right, like, what does this have to do? Like, why do you keep telling me about Windows NT? It was like afterwards that I realized this was in this person's way, even though they were extremely poor at explaining things to them. What a backup meant was where it like compresses it into an archive file, takes all the files that you want it to back up and compresses it into some archive file. And to this is what a backup meant. Like, all right, I mean, just to me though, at first, like, I couldn't quite understand, because they didn't like explicitly say, this is what I'm looking for. It's just, oh, well, I already do it this way. Like, all right, well, this is like what backing up generally is. But no, I mean, just stuff like that. I don't know. How do you listen more to people? How do you try to suss out more of what they're really trying to tell you, what they're really trying to ask for? So, I don't know. I don't know what kind of goals these are, but that's, if I had to choose something in the more shorter term, this is what it would be. Just want to get better at what I'm doing. And then, well, where you once here in September here, we'll see, we're working with insurance. We had a water burst, or we had a pipe burst in the house and had some flooding. Just working on getting stuff replaced. It's been a whole mess to work with. Gonna have to stay in a hotel for a bit, have movers move stuff out so they can work on the floor and things like that. But I figure once construction is done or moved back in, everything is settled, need to go to an office furniture store on a day off, spend some good bit of time and take a look. Are there any chairs I can sit in and it feels okay and then I can get back to learning to code, bro. Just, I am not going to have any attachment, though, of any sort of, oh, well, career, blah, 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 any of this. Now, once again, not saying that there isn't like a purpose to this whole, like, envisioning what you want out of a thing, but right now, to me, it's just, I don't even want to attach anything to that. Just for your own enjoyment and learning, do that. So those are my goals, the non-medical side. The medical side, obviously, well, hopefully keep getting to a point where can function more and more without pain. It's definitely now at a point where, like, too much rest isn't going to do anything. I already tried that. Got to make sure I walk every day. Think it's definitely time to kind of suck it up and start doing some corrective exercises here. It's just it's been a challenge of finding the right dose and the right frequency of the right exercises. Because this whole go in there and kill it, bro, you know, go do 100 band pull-aparts or do this and that every day, all that's has constantly led to a bunch of pain, swelling, and just feeling like you're gone back completely to the beginning. So yeah, so that is it. It only took me a very, very long time. I apparently am completely unable to make short videos, unless it's kind of some dumb meme TikTok thing like I just did with the D&D and podcast thing. So anyway, that is it. You folks have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.